Last time we were looking at Call of Duty Finest Hour. We got through Stalingrad, we got through North Africa, now we're headed for Europe. Look out, Hitler, the Americans are coming.
Irving. Big fat Irving. Big sport Irving. The 142nd fastest gun in the West.
More historical footage talks about the Russian victory at Stalingrad, followed by D-Day, and both mark the beginning of the end for Hitler's 1,000-year Reich. There's a brief mention of Operation Market Garden, which we'll see from the ground when we look at Brothers in Arms' Hell's Highway. Now you're off to Aachen, the first German city to fall to the Allies. You are now an American infantryman. The plan is simple. Escort a Sherman tank into the town square so it can start blowing up buildings. Your job is to protect the tank from German soldiers with Panzerschrecks. Wait a minute. You're on foot, carrying a little machine gun. The tank is heavily armored, has a massive machine gun and an even more massive cannon, and you're supposed to protect it? Somebody explain to me why the hell this thing can't protect itself and me in the process. These Germans are on foot just like you. One pop from that cannon and they relocate.
Over there, and up there.
Exactly. But here's how this thing goes.
More Panzerschrecks! The tank column can't move on until we clear the way!
The M12 is a special tank with an absolutely enormous gun on it, and the Germans know if it gets to their main headquarters, they're sunk. So to prevent that, these Germans are firing anti-armor rockets at the tanks, and the tanks are just sitting there. Your sergeant is screaming that the M12 is taking hits, and the M12 and the other tanks are doing absolutely nothing. What's wrong with this picture? I'll be honest. The first time I played this game, I gave up on it right here and took it back to the store. The scenario was so absurd and the task was so frantic I said, screw this! I was fairly new to gaming at the time, so I hope I can be forgiven. Now I have a little more experience under my belt, and I find that figuring things like this out is pretty fun, if more than a little frustrating. But really, my big problem here is suspending disbelief. I just can't buy the idea that the tank operators would sit there with their thumbs up their butts while their vehicle took all these hits and not even shoot back. And it's totally unnecessary. Even if, in the story, they needed to save their cannon ammo for the buildings they were supposed to destroy, their machine gun would be more than enough to protect them from these guys. So far in this game, I put up with enemies who need a dozen solid hits from an MG42 before they go down, to setting landmines for tanks that don't go anywhere, to enemies spawning behind me out of nowhere, and I've managed to keep up my suspension of disbelief. But this is just too much. A tank that just sits there and says,
I am a turkey. Kill me.
I can't do it. Let's get through this mission and on to the next one, because this one seems like an insult to the guys who operated those tanks.
They're hitting the M12! German anti-tank! The Shermans won't roll until we take those Nazis out! The M12 just took a rocket hit!
Let me make this as clear as I possibly can. Tell the tanks to shoot back! And of course, the other big problem here is one that plagues the game as a whole: no checkpoints. I didn't get that far into the mission, and I identified at least 3 places that need them. Okay, it's like this. The anti-tank guys come in waves, right? You take them out, move a little further on, and another wave comes along. Why the hell not put a checkpoint after each wave? You start with a single guy with a Panzerschreck up in this building. You have to go up there and take him out from the inside, even though you can see him through the blasted out window. Whatever. At least if you check every closed room, it gets you a health pack, for all the good that does. Once you're done with him, you head back downstairs where the on-screen graphic comes up to tell you that you did what you already know you did because you just did it. Perfect place for a checkpoint. Do you get one? Hell no. So no matter how far into the mission you get, if you or the tank get killed, you get to do it all again. Pardon my English, but the next wave is just ahead of this plaza thing. Once you've taken out all the anti-tank stuff, the tanks move on. Checkpoint? Of course not. Through the arch and you meet another wave and take them out. Checkpoint? No way. I really don't know what to say to this. I enjoy these games to a fault, but this is outrageous. Now, I'll be brutally honest. I still haven't gotten through this mission. In technical computer terms, it's a frigging mess. The enemies, of course, only have eyes and bullets for you. There are Panzerschrecks coming literally from all sides, sometimes even behind you after you've cleared an area, and you are the only one who can take them out. As usual, your AI squad is useless. I think I know the best way to describe these guys shooting.
I couldn't hit a bullet with the side of a barn.
That's about the size of it. I counted 15 times. Each time I tried different tactics, positions, weapons, you name it. I tried every variation possible and couldn't do it. I'm sure there are those out there who have figured it out. More power to them. I refuse to continue defending a tank that's made of paper. Naturally, health packs are non-existent. You start out with none. What? So nobody expects you to take any damage. I don't get it. There's one health pack in an obscure room upstairs in a building you have to clear early on, and there's another one off in a corner after you take out the first round of anti-armor guys. If you can find the damn thing, because while you're going to try and get it, there's a zillion Germans shooting at you from off to the side where the tank just finished blowing the crap out of everything. So now what? Now we use our unlock cheat again. You need two controllers to do it. On the second controller, hold the up button on the D-pad. On the first controller, then press start, back, X. Let me give you that again. Hold up on the second controller. On the first controller, press start, back, X. That's on the Xbox 360. Anything else, find it yourself. It only works for your current session. So if you exit the game, you'll have to do it again next time you go to play. But it's worth remembering because especially in places like this, you'll need it. Enough of that nonsense. Let's use our cheat and move on. After the cheat, you're in the sewers. How did you get there? Don't know, don't care. The task is to blow all the ladders leading to the surface so the Germans can't use them.
Geez, how about a little warning next time, eh, Sarge?
Now, this is a brilliant maneuver, especially since you and your men are at the bottom of the ladders. There's 5 ladders to blow, and they're scattered all over the place. You get to fight hordes of German soldiers, a couple of stationary machine guns. Oh, this is loads of fun. But there actually is one checkpoint in this level. Wow, what a deal. And I found a total of 5 health packs, most of them tucked back in obscure corners where you can't see a damn thing. Thanks, developers. They're so helpful. So you go around, get thoroughly lost, and blow the ladders. Suddenly, you come across some GIs who are pinned down by the Germans. You now have a sub-objective: rescue them. If you do, they say, thank you. If you don't, nothing. Nothing happens. There are absolutely no consequences to not rescuing these guys. If you don't move fast enough, they're killed. And you get a graphic informing you they've been killed. That's it. Hey, don't ask me. I gave up trying to find logic in a lot of this stuff about 6 levels ago. Anyway, after that you have to find a way to the surface. Why? Because you already blew up all the regular ways, dummy. So you have to find another path, assuming there is one. Well, of course there is, and of course it's blocked by who knows how many German soldiers. But eventually, you find your way to it, and you get a graphic saying you found the path to the surface. And scene. Actually, that's not the end of the level. It's just a loading point. Everything picks up where you left off. As quick as you get back, one of your guys says this.
We gotta find our way back to the tanks.
Hail, Prince of the Obvious.
Here we have some excellent examples of just how useful your AI squad is. Watch this. This guy is swinging his rifle at nothing because the German is a good 10 feet away. The other guy is shooting non-stop and the German is just standing there. So I guess I'll shoot him. Okay, dude, get out of the way. So, a few shots from my Thompson. What? He's not down? More shots from my Thompson? What is this guy made of? Once again, suspension of disbelief goes out the window. The Thompson fires 45 caliber bullets, the kind that took out Billy Clanton and Frank McClory at the OK Corral. It is not a wimpy weapon. Yet it took close to 20 direct hits from it to bring this guy down. And you could tell they were hits by the red thingies around him when I fired. This makes no sense at all. Maybe it depends on where you hit them, because this guy took many fewer shots.
Mummy daddy button.
So anyway, you get to the top of the building where you see a column of American tanks going by. Oh crap, it's an ambush! Fortunately, you just took out a couple of Germans on a nice MG-42, so you can grab it and protect the tanks. Once that's done, you have to find your way back to your M12 so you can finish escorting it into town. For a change, this part is pretty basic gameplay, at least until you get to the town square itself. There's one final obstacle. A couple of Panzer tanks that are entrenched in the sort of alley where heavy fire from the tanks can't get to them. So you have to take your squad and find a way to flank them. It's a roundabout path, of course, and there are more Germans than you can count on your fingers, toes, and genitals in the way. But eventually, you get to a building where you can go upstairs. You find a couple of Germans at the top, and this happened. So apparently, every shot I fired did absolutely nothing until I got to the top of the stairs, even though I was getting the red indicators that I hit the enemy. Once again, I don't get it. But you finally take them out and get up there, and isn't it handy that there's a whole pile of Panzer Shreks there? So you grab one, put a couple of shots into one of the tanks, and cue the cutscene.
And here comes the big gun. This shouldn't take long.
Surrendering! Aachen is ours!
Truthfully, this was one of the worst levels I've found in the game, mainly because it doesn't play fair. You have 3 or 4 Sherman tanks in addition to the M12, and the M12 is the one that absolutely has to survive. When you see that cutscene, you finally know why. It's the big gun that's bringing down those massive fortifications, probably the only one big enough to do so. But here's a crazy idea. If the M12 is the most crucial, why in the name of any shred of common sense don't you put it at the back of the column and have the other Shermans help protect it too? The damn thing is right out in the front of everything where it's most exposed. Excuse me, but I have difficulty believing that any American officer running this assault would have been that freaking stupid. And I spent some time in the Army, so I know how stupid officers can be. Okay. That's finally done. Let's move on and see what the rest of the levels are like. Next level, you're an American tank operator. But not just any American tank operator, you're black. The American military was still pretty segregated during this war, and this man's comments reflect that situation. His unit is almost entirely colored, as he puts it, except the officers, of course. And they have something to prove to everybody. We're just as good as anybody else, maybe better. His intro is worth watching in its entirety.
My name is Sam Rivers. The day after the attack on Pearl Harbor, me and my best friend Jim rushed to enlist in the U.S. Army. Most of our buddies from the neighborhood in Chicago did the same. I was only 18. I barely had enough time to say my goodbyes, get packed, and marry my sweetheart Maggie 3 hours before we shipped out for basic training. I was assigned to the 761st Tank Battalion, which was almost entirely made up of colored folk, except for the officers. We were not particularly welcome at Camp Hood, but this just drove us to build an unstoppable team and earn the respect of everyone we met. General Patton himself saw us in action and insisted we be attached to his 3rd Army and sent to Europe. Today we're near the town of Tillet. Every other American unit assigned to take this town has tried and failed. Now it's our turn. We're all fighting for something more than just defeating the enemy. Every man in the 761st has something to prove to himself and to the folks back home. For us, victory has a double meaning.
So I get to play as a black man in a white man's army, not only fighting for my country, but for my own honor and equality. This is, the only word I can think of is humbling. I'll be interested to see how this plays out. There's only one problem here. I have to drive another tank. This level's pretty straightforward. Battle soldiers, flak 88s, Panzer Shreks and tanks to take the town of Tillet. Of course, the Germans are bucking you all the way, and they have some pretty tough emplacements. You know, if we all build houses out of those kinds of logs, we can survive Armageddon. But I digress. There are a couple of variations that keep you thinking. In one case, there are machine gunners in a building that you can't seem to take out with the tank, so you have to park around the back, go in and clear them out the old-fashioned way. This is puzzling. Okay, I can see these guys plain as day. There's no glass in the windows, much less anything tougher. Let's see what happens if I put a cannon shell up this guy's nose. Bang! Nothing. Okay, how about this one? Bang! Nothing. Okay, if you're gonna have them entrenched deeply enough that the tank can't take them out, don't make them completely visible and unprotected. It makes suspension of disbelief difficult. No, wait, strike that. Impossible! What are these guys made of? Anyway, you park the tank, go in and take out the 3 machine gunners, and get back in the tank. One ongoing amusement in this game is the way some of the enemies go down. Check this out. Okay, that looks more like he got hit with a sticky shocker from the Splinter Cell games. Am I right? Of course I am. Onward and upward to the second part of town. And guess what? You have to get out of the tank again and take out some Germans on foot. These guys have Panzer Shreks, so they're a bit more trouble for your tank. And at least this time you can't see them from the windows. So off we go. Take them out and there's Panzer Shreks lying all over the place and you get a prompt to pick one up. I wonder if that's significant. For the answer, look out the window. A kabillion German tanks are bearing down on you and you're the only one who can take them out. Don't you love the way the Panzer Shreks keep respawning so you don't run out of ammo? Isn't that amazing? The game is playing fair as far as your ammo goes, at least. There's still no health anywhere around, but you can take the tanks out. Now, here's where it seems a little weird.
Almost through to it. Stay on the Germans and let's get that highway.
Did you catch that? The graphic says you're done, but there's still 2 German tanks out there. Hey, timing is everything, I guess. So back in the tank, you head for the third and final part of town. You don't have to get out of your tank this time, but you notice this. Okay, my guide point on my compass has vanished, so I'm supposed to sit here and take out the 4 tanks defending this end of town. Hey, bring them on! Waiting. 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 Tanks are coming any second now. Okay, where the hell are they? Maybe I need to break a plane or something? Let's try this. Oh, there they are! Ouch! So, you're way out in front of your support, totally exposed. Well, that's brilliant. Anyway, after you take care of those, you have to deal with 4 more tanks patrolling the other side of town, and then hold off a German tank counterattack. That's all basic gameplay. But the end of this level is worth seeing.
Hell of a job, everybody. No way the Nazis are gonna get supplied against Bastogne now.
Charlie Company, come in. Charlie Company, please respond.
This is Sergeant Rivers, Charlie Company. Over.
Rivers, this is headquarters. Command has reviewed enemy strength report and orders are to break off assault until it. Do not go into that town, Sergeant. It's too hot in there.
I'm sorry, sir. I'm already through that town.
Ah, military intelligence. You gotta love it. This level is decent to play, but it's disappointing on a couple of fronts. First, and this is a problem through the whole game, checkpoints only work during your current play session. That is to say, they don't get saved on the hard disk. If you exit the game, you won't start again at the last checkpoint. You'll start over at the beginning of the level. I have no idea why. Second, it didn't follow up at all on the racial angle. This would have been a perfect opportunity to talk about equality, maybe have some white soldiers or even commanders realize that these men have what it takes, and there's nothing. That has to go down in the annals of missed opportunities. So we're back to being Chuck Walker, the soldier who helped take Aachen. We've heard that there's a bridge across the Rhine still intact, which is very unlike the Germans. Our mission is to verify that it's still there, and if it is, keep it that way so the Allies can use it. We make our way somewhere or other, fighting Germans to get into town at our end of the bridge. Now, at the end of this part, we see one of the ongoing problems with this game. Timing. Watch.
King Tigers, take cover!
Okay, the bridge is secured. What the hell? 2 German tanks are right there, blasting you to pieces, but the graphic says you've secured the bridge, and you still have to make your way across to this building, fight into it, and find some anti-tank weapons to take them out, but it's a good thing the bridge is secure. I feel so much safer now that the bridge is secure. I don't know what I'd do about those tanks if the bridge wasn't secure. Okay, moving on. You find the Panzer Shreks and blast the tanks. But watch this. Remember back when we were fighting off that German tank assault with the endless stream of Panzer Shreks in the previous level? It took 1 shot each to take them out. Each of these takes, count them, 3. Now, I know these are a different kind of tank, but come on! A little consistency would be nice. During this level, your main weapon has been the Browning Automatic Rifle, or BAR. Most of the time, it takes 2 or 3 shots to put down a German soldier. But there are plenty of times when it takes as many as 10. I have no idea what's going on here. This thing is so full of plot holes you could strain spaghetti with it. So anyway, you take out the German armor, and here come the American tanks you were driving in the previous level. Now you have to lead them to the bridge. Wait a minute. Aren't we at the bridge? Didn't we just secure it? I'm so confused! Now you're supposed to take the tanks to the actual bridge. One of them has a scoop on the front, and it must survive. I'm not asking. Okay, never mind. Let's just escort these tanks to the bridge. Through the streets. Over to the town square, where we meet a couple of very nasty machine guns and some mines that you have to disarm. Most of the time, like before, the damn tanks are just sitting there while you have to take out the enemy. I still don't get it. They fire a few shots, but overall, you're doing most of the work. Now we cross the square and head through this tunnel out into this area. And now we've run into a random sand dune. So we're supposed to scout around while the tanks make their way through it. So we go down these stairs where we encounter a bunch more Germans. Take them out, go through this, it looks like a culvert, I don't know what it's supposed to be. And we come out the other side of the dune where the tanks are already there waiting for us. Okay, if they just dug their way through the dune, why did we have to wander all over the place to find an alternate route around it? Why didn't we just go with the tanks when they plowed through it? It's time for our song, folks!
Padding, 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 gotta add some padding. This game is too short, so let's pad.
Then this happened, at least to me. None of the controls work, not even the guide button. I'm a game tester in my other life, and the technical term for this is, oh crap. There's only one solution.
Hello, IT? Have you tried turning it off and on again?
Yep, that's what it takes. So I had to do that whole mess again. I'll spare you that. Now we're informed that we have to take the tanks through these warehouses. Why? And where the hell is this bridge that we supposedly already secured? Through the warehouses, out onto a dirt road, to grandmother's house we go. How far away is this stupid bridge? Back around the warehouses, I found this wonderful little glitch. Yo, while you're there, take a peek and see what's in that box, okay? Another weird thing is, I keep picking up ammo for weapons I don't have. Thompson, KAR-98, Panzerschreck, you name it. But get this, I can't pick up the weapon itself. Apparently, if you ever carried that weapon anywhere in the game, you'll be gathering ammo for it for the rest of your life. But you may or may not get the chance to pick up said weapon forever and ever, amen. At the town square, I picked up a G43 sniper rifle and got some good mileage out of it. I wound up dropping it and picking up an MP40 for more close-in combat, but as we headed toward the warehouses, I picked up ammo for it. I also picked up BAR ammo, even though I'd abandoned my BAR half an hour earlier. Here's what I don't know about these bugs. I don't know if they were part of the original game on the original Xbox, or if the glitches come about because we're basically using an emulator on the Xbox 360. If anybody knows, drop me an email. I'm really curious to find out. Anyway, we head up this hill, and I think we've finally reached the bridge, where I get to find out what the inside of a sandwich feels like. Huh? That's it? We finally got here and we just fade out? That was anticlimactic. I don't know what I was expecting, but that wasn't it.
Lieutenant, we can't get these tanks across the bridge with this damn hole in the way. Take your men across and capture this bridge before the Germans blow it up.
Are you crazy? We'll get slaughtered.
That's not a suggestion. That is a direct order. Move out, or I'll execute you for treason myself.
Moving out.
Oh, okay, so we're not done yet. The Germans are trying to blow the bridge, and the captain wants us to go stop them. You heard your character's response, but maybe it should have gone something like this.
Are you out of your fucking mind?
But he says he'll shoot us if we don't go get shot. I'm not sure why getting shot by him is so much worse than getting shot by the Germans, but apparently it's a compelling argument. Don't ask. I don't want to know. Let's take our chances with the Germans. Okay, start across the bridge, keeping to cover. Along the way, there's a G43 sniper rifle to be had, and you'll want it. It comes in really handy picking off the waves of Germans that are coming at you. Well, most of the time, except when this happens. So it took 3 direct shots to the head to take that guy out. Uh-huh, sure. Still, the sniper rifle comes in handy. I'm especially proud of this shot. Did you notice something there at the far end of the bridge? They have that huge sandbag bunker set up and there's nobody in it. Now, when the Nazis set something like that up, especially at a crucial point like this, they most always had a kabillion MG42 mounted machine guns in it, all pointed right at your head. But there's nobody there. What's up with that? Oh, I get it. The Germans using the machine guns don't appear until we get a certain distance across the bridge. Well, I guess that makes sense. On some planet, somewhere. This is where your sniper rifle will really serve you well. And suddenly, for no apparent reason, health packs start appearing. Pick them all up because you're going to need them. Now, notice the 2 big towers at the end of the bridge. You've been told you need to take those out. The graphic says to neutralize the machine gun nest at the top of the south tower. That's the one on the right. So we go up to it and open the door. Huh? It doesn't open. Okay, the compass is pointing to the north tower. Well, maybe somebody's confused. Let's go check. Nope, nothing to neutralize here. There's ammo, grenades, health packs, no bad guys. Oh, wait a minute. There's a staircase going down, and it looks like my compass is pointing to it.
Gotta go forwards to go back.
Ah, I get it. An underground tunnel from one tower to the other. Well, that's certainly easier than just kicking the damn door in, isn't it? Seriously, this feels like more padding. It's a way to have you battle yet more Germans before you get over them. Okay. So you go under the bridge to the other tower and make your way up. This thing only has about 87 floors, so you should get to the top in roughly a month. So here's the top. Let's take care of the machine gunners. What? Where are they? There's nothing here. Oh, crap. Guess what that ladder's doing there? Yep, you have to climb that ladder to where the actual bad guys are, and while you're on the ladder, you can't use your gun or anything else. So you have to try to head up the ladder and beg the Germans not to shoot you until you get off it and have your gun ready so you can make it a fair fight. They'll do that, right? The first time I played this level, I beat this by climbing to the top of the ladder and peeking my head up just enough to get their attention, then dropping back down. 2 Germans appeared in that opening and I was able to shoot them both. The graphics said the machine gun nest was neutralized. Here's what happened this time. Wow, that was weird. Lucky for me that by the time I went into the towers this time, I had 6 health packs. Okay, so the machine gun nest is neutralized. The first time I played, I got a graphic saying that, then suddenly I was still getting shot at. This time, you saw this. They still have a chance of killing me here, so I wouldn't exactly say they're neutralized. But it gets worse. We're still hearing machine gun fire. What the hell? Where did that come from? Wait a cotton-picking minute. It said I neutralized these guys, but there's still one up there running the machine gun? I just love this game's definition of neutralized. Maybe I shot them all in the crotch so they can't have kids or something, I don't know. But there's an anti-aircraft gun up here as well, and now you have to hop on it and fend off a Stuka attack. How you do that is anybody's guess, because this thing moves about as smoothly as the tanks, and there's planes coming at you from every direction you can imagine, plus a few I think the developers made up on the spot. I didn't even try to count how many planes there were. I finally just started swinging this way and that, firing constantly until the game told me that I'd repelled the Stuka attack. A final cutscene shows you unrolling the American flag from the tower. Then we go to historical footage of the end of the European War. There's a brief dedication screen and roll the credits. This game is flawed big time, there's no question about that. It takes way too many hits to kill an enemy, the graphics are seriously dated, that timing thing is a huge problem, and there are way too many missed opportunities like the thing about the black unit. Being so tight-fisted with the health is a major error as well. At the same time, it's an amazing ride. The non-stop action, the variety of weapons, and especially the ability to see the war from so many different points of view set the tone for the whole series, and it caught on like few games ever have. It's no wonder the franchise is still going and is still as popular as ever. Since this entry into the market, we've had 3 more World War II games and 4 games that take place right now, 3 Modern Warfare titles and Black Ops. Speaking only for myself, I'd love to see more World War II games, or even something we haven't seen nearly enough of, Vietnam. I don't care. Just keep them coming, guys. Next time, we'll check out the second game in the series, Call of Duty 2. Wait a minute. This one is Call of Duty 2. No, this one is...
Well, finally, Irving got 3 slugs in the belly. It was right outside the frontier deli. He was sitting there twirling his gun around, and Butterfingers Irving gunned himself down. Irving. Big fat Irving. Big dum-dum Irving. Big dum-dum dead Irving. The 142nd fastest gun in the West. Really?
I'm gonna make you hold that for as long as I possibly can.
You are such a turd.